All right, we're live.
All right.
Yay!
Yeah, I was thinking.
Noises.
Yeah, finally, I wasn't gonna record a response to the Gillette video, and then I decided, all right, fuck it, might as well do it. What I wanted to do was make a tutorial video on how to shave with the Gillette razor, and it'd be hilarious. I'd be like, first take the Gillette razor out of the box, then apply, then grab your testicles, take the safety protector off of the Gillette razor blade, and swipe up as hard as you might have to saw a little bit, but eventually you'll get those things off of there. You don't really need those, it turns out. Those were just it's kind of like an appendix. You don't actually need those. So yeah, just throw that in the trash. You can either throw it in the trash, or I like to keep mine in a jar here on my desk. So
It's not too late, John. I honestly think you should do this. This is
cut him off and hand him to the libs. So my thing was, because I saw the commercial and I'm like, this is stupid. You're singling out men. Look, the commercial could be summarized to, don't be a asshole, right? Don't be an asshole. Women
Right.
can be assholes too. So guess what?
Yeah.
What do you call that? Toxic humanity? I mean, the whole thing was just dumb. I'm like, I don't need a sermon from a razor company, and especially, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So, well, they're gonna get what's coming to them as everyone moves to Dollar Shave Club and grows out their fucking beards.
I've already switched over to. I get mine subscription through Harry's, so it's kind of like the NFL to me, right? It's like okay, well, I wasn't consuming their product anyway, so.
There was this interesting shot in that video where this guy is about to go up. He sees this beautiful girl walking on the street, and he's about to go up, and the other guy's like, "No.
That's not cool."
Okay.
And he actually touches him.
Yeah,
right?
he's like, "Stop." And
so he actually assaults him. Actually, that's assault.
So you're not allowed to now talk to girls.
Damn, I missed that in my video.
You're not allowed to talk to women in public places because that's a bad move. Yeah. You're not even allowed to date them or marry them because that could be really bad as well.
Yeah.
Now guys should be staying away from girls.
Yeah, there was so much wrong with that scene. And like I said, if someone actually if you're walking and someone actually stops you and touches you, that's assault. That's assault. That is literally the definition of assault is unwarranted physical touch. That's assault. So it's okay to actually physically assault someone who's not committing a crime. Right? Yeah. Who just can you imagine if some guy did that to I mean, I in the next frame it would have shown him on the ground and me beating the fuck out of him because really you're gonna it's just craziness, but
yeah, well,
yeah. Plus, where's the responsibility for the girl who wore that very provocative outfit?
Oh, victim blaming.
It's not like she put it on and she was like, "Oh, I should not get any attention from that. This should be." You're gonna get some wanted attention when you put on something that screams attention. It's like if I wear a MAGA hat and I go into the hood in DC, I'm gonna get some attention. I better be ready to deal with the attention I'm about to get because I'm gonna get it, right? Same situation. If you do something that's gonna get attention, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that you better be prepared to deal with the attention you're going to get. And an appropriate response is fuck off. If you say fuck off, that's fine. If, in fact, even in that video, right? There's a scene before that where there was some fat kid at the pool that was like, "You should smile more," and the guy's like, "Oh, that's not cool," right? I'm like, all right. If the kid goes up to the girl, and he's like, "You should smile more," and she's like, "Fuck off," and then he's like, "What's wrong, honey?" and he's like, keeps on harassing her, I'm gonna step in. I mean, any guy was gonna step in and be like, leave her the fuck alone. But he gets one shot at it.
She was out.
Yeah, she gets to decide whether she's going to reject him or not. It's fine. Like, he could say some stupid shit, and then she can say fuck off. It's simple as that. Like, we don't need to like protect people from hearing anything they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Besides, if that kid had a Lambo, she'd be like, yeah, I should smile more.
So throw your Gillette razor in the trash. Let's talk about business. Because I agree with you, but I don't really want to hash this out on this call.
Yeah, this call is not the right place for.
It's fun to laugh about it for a minute, though.
All right.
Hey, look, guys, it snowed.
Oh,
Nice.
damn. What does that look like?
Snow.
Like, all I see
Manny-
is ice in my refrigerator. Is that what it looks like? I don't know. I've never really spent time with snow.
So there's this new show on Disney Junior called Gigantosaurus. I just want to make sure it's okay with you before Maggie watches.
That's fine.
Okay.
Sorry. I just took my wife to the airport, so I'm in charge, I guess.
You're the man.
So my son's like, "There's a new show on. Can the 3-year-old watch it?" I'm like, "It's on Disney, yes."
The trust factor. It's good. It's good. I mean, it's good marketing. Right? Disney means you can watch it. They've built all this trust over the years.
Yeah.
If it was
I'm gonna sign on my
PBS,
computer.
you'd be worried. So I was looking at your numbers, Josh.
Oh yeah.
The conversions, but those are his CPCs, right? Not yours, because you guys sent more clicks than that through your email and through. Like,
yeah, but I can't.
You sent clicks
I can't.
from your email to the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Those have to be accounted for as well in your calculation.
Right. I know. I can't. I don't have a clean way of disentangling that. So
that's why I said there's no way to disentangle it except for cost per communication.
Yeah, like earnings per impression or something like that.
Earnings per communication. Impression is also difficult because you don't know how many of them got how many impressions.
Well, you can do like email opens and or like no, I see what you're saying. I would consider an email send. So like 68 would be 68 impressions.
Yeah.
Even if they weren't opened. So,
yeah, and a YouTube video delivered.
Right. Yeah.
The fact, because ultimately that is email equity or YouTube equity that is being spent to get this done. Whether how many people open or not, unfortunately, that equity is already burnt.
Right.
All right.
Yep.
So
yeah, we haven't really calculated that before, so it's not really good. If you do it, it's something like less than a penny per communication, I think.
Not penny. I mean, how many dollars per consumer? You mean per subscriber?
Yeah.
I was thinking more like overall. $1 per email or $1 per YouTube video. And it's like maybe $1,500 or something like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that would be one way to look at it. I was looking at it more from the individual level. But
yeah, because I'm trying to go more and more abstract and see where is there some way to
compare across
different domains and also be able to like see what is it that you guys spent on this, right? You spend time and money, but time and effort, but also like the equity on XYZ topics on the XYZ channel.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to, if you want to be able to compare across multiple channels or multiple promotions, you kind of have to go down to the per audience member level. because like if your email list grows, then the per email number doesn't mean anything anymore, right? So
that's true.
Kind of have to get that granular.
YouTube,
or if you only send to a segment for whatever reason.
That's true.
So yeah,
that's true. It's interesting.
But yeah, so far, so they were going to start doing the phone follow up. Right now we're still at 17 sales, so which is John was thinking 20 sales. I was thinking 10 to 20. So we're kind of like tracking basically right where we thought we would be with this one. But the phone follow up potentially could throw that completely out if I could see that doubling the sales.
For sure.
But the leads are also at this point are getting pretty cold because it's been a week since I sent an email. So
yeah, but they might be sending emails.
That's true. They do send emails, so that's true.
They must have automated sequences for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but still, like the time to do phone follow up is right after the lead comes in. Ideally, like you don't want to do like a bunch of email and then do the phone and later. The phone is going to be the most effective thing, so you want to do that first.
Interesting.
Yep.
Been reading this lately.
Oh, good stuff.
There you go.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Like just the first chapter is like poof, mind blown.
Yep. Well, the first really the most of the like the biggest concepts in the book are in the first few chapters. The rest of it's really good too, but it's more like a lot of it's more like tactical. The big ideas are in the first few chapters.
Yeah, I mean, when he said copy cannot create desire, I was like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous, but so real, so powerful. Because all the time we've been thinking like copy is the tool, but it's amazing. This book is fucking. Well, all copywriting books are kind of mind blowing that way.
It really is. So John had sent me the Sam Ovens video this week, and I watched it yesterday.
Which one?
It was the 9 inconvenient truths of online business or something like that.
The 9 online business.
Yeah, and it was really good. But basically everything he's saying in that video is in. I sent John a bunch of quotes like breakthrough advertising, reality and advertising. Both were published in the 1960s. Like I think that what happened is that the internet, like the technology explosion, created a temporary arbitrage situation where people could get away with things that you just couldn't get away with in the kind of brick and mortar world that existed, up until, and now people have gotten wise to it. And the opportunity is more along the lines of marketing is an accelerator on a really great product, not marketing is a business that you can slap any product on the back end and it'll work.
I thought that was always the case, but yeah.
It's no, not really. I mean, for a while, I think there was a time for a while in the internet space where that wasn't true. Yeah, it was like a 10, 15-year time span where the quality of things didn't really matter all that much, and it's kind of a gold rush. Like there's always a gold rush, right? And then we sort things out, and then like everybody that's not a serious player gets wiped out, and it just that cycle always repeats.
Makers go away, but the business makers will survive.
Exactly.
To survive.
Yep. Yeah. Rosser Reeves said it was either 1960. I think it was 1966. He wrote in Reality and Advertising that a gifted product is mightier than a gifted pen, and that's like one of the core ideas in Sam Ovens' video.
Yeah.
So it's really not. Which is comforting to me because I think that the fundamentals of really good marketing don't change and haven't really changed. What's changed is that a lot of these tactics that everyone was really excited about have worn out very quickly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's good to know that the times of selling trash are going away. It makes for real business to thrive rather than just some random fuckers to fuck up everything for everyone. Like Facebook advertising for a long time has been fucked up by black hat marketers, some of which were my friends as well. But hopefully over time that goes away. I mean, it's still there, but a lot of those guys are now complaining that it's not as easy as it used to be.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know, the third time that you buy the fucking shirt from China that was advertised as like that you had no indication that it was shipping from China and it was advertised looking like this, and then you get it and it's like it's been obviously like the sleeves are cut out with scissors. Like you're like, all right, don't trust that shit anymore. Like it's just like it gets played out so much, right? People lose faith and they start looking for actual trustworthy sources.
Yep.
Well, there is more to it. There's also that Facebook has shut down a lot of this like this black hat traffic hardcore. But it used to be easy to keep your account open for like spending $4,000 or $5,000 before Facebook would crack down, or even 10,000.
Yeah.
Now, in the $1,000 spend, Facebook will crack down. They're doing more quicker audits, and that basically means that anyone who's trying to thrive, by the time you spend $1,000, you've literally just seasoned the account. You haven't really even made a good return on it, and now the account is shut down. So people are basically unable to make any money off of that stuff right now, of black hat stuff.
I saw one of those a while back where it was like, say goodbye to Chuck Norris, right? It's like, how can you not click on that ad? Right? And so it clicked, and so I went over. It was basically they copied the HTML from like CNN or something, and it was like cnnnews.org or something like that, and then they wrote an advert, like a news article about how Chuck Norris had admitted to doping and like he was resigning and or like leaving the public eye in shame, but then it was like selling some kind of supplement, like a workout supplement. And I think what people would do would just, correct me if I'm wrong, Manny, but you just basically, those were never really allowed, but that you would just serially open accounts. They'd close it down after a couple days. You'd just open another one, and you'd have to do like a lot of crazy things like new credit card, I make sure you don't use your old IP address, but as long as you did certain things, you could keep this kind of Ponzi scheme going indefinitely.
Yep. This is exactly what it was for a while. It's still like what my friends are saying right now. It's really hard to make any positive money anymore on this stuff,
which is a good thing. Not for them, but
yeah.
The other thing in the book in Breakthrough Advertising, which you probably haven't gotten to yet, Manny, is the idea of market sophistication. So some of the main ideas are market awareness and market sophistication. And market awareness is like, how much do they know about your product? And market sophistication is like, how much do they know about this topic? And so that's, and your competitors, just kind of like the whole space, like how many times have they been marketed to, how much. He goes through a really great case study of the cigarette industry, and he shows like there's very specific phases where like you've got the kind of the blue ocean thing where you're the only person doing this, and then somebody comes along and they copy you, and then the next thing that you do is you up your promise. So you get into this like this promise wars where it's like the claims get more and more inflated and more unbelievable, and then somebody comes along, finds a new angle, and then that repeats all over again, and then people get really cynical, and like that's kind of the state that we're at, where people have just seen everything, they've heard everything, it's super saturated, like, and so we're even though like we're not competing with anybody else at Simple Programmer selling soft skills for software developers, we're dealing with consumers that are just worn out from everything that they've been exposed to. So it like Gillette impacts us.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's
critical mass of being marketed to. Period.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and
that's unavoidable, unfortunately.
It is. Yeah, it is unavoidable. Which is what's what's cool about the breakthrough advertising. The way he walks through it is that you see how it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
And it's kind of frustrating because you're like, you see how the story is going to go, but it's also he also gives you ideas for what to do at each stage and how to how to cut through and you can kind of be one step ahead when you know how it plays out.
We're kind of entering uncharted territory though to some degree, because never in society, never in history has it ever been so easy for people to become not only has it never been so easy for people to become entrepreneurs, but so encouraged either, right?
Yeah.
Look at the whole Gary V following. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. And everyone can now. They can put up Shopify stores and they can put up sales pages and they can learn to be digital marketers. And so we've actually hit kind of a uncharted territory here where now we're, it's before it was like, okay, yeah, there was 4 cigarette companies that were competing and doing this. Now it's like, it's 500,000.
I wouldn't say it's, I would say that it's hyper accelerated more than uncharted, because like, it's basically the same cycles just repeating over and over. And the cycles can repeat now in 3 months instead of 30 years.
Yeah.
Like that's what technology does, is it just accelerates everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the question is what's the next evolution? Like, where does it go from here? Right. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be going offline, and like I mean, not completely offline, but I mean, we're seeing it, right? I mean, like if people are not responding as much to the online media, that means that they're, they're just tired. They're tuning out.
Yeah.
And actually direct mail response rates have gone up.
Yeah.
Because it's not crowded.
Oh right, gosh.
And the hipsters, like the millennials, think, oh wow, like what is this? Someone sent me this thing it arrived at my house physically, and it's like a novelty.
Social skills. We're gonna do a direct mailing. No emailing.
Yeah.
Well, if
my mom went to the mailbox and I got a free widget.
Got free.
Well, yeah, yeah. Maybe the solution is what Dan Locke is doing, is with the closers and getting people on the phone and actually having a high ticket thing and selling it through closers.
I mean, I think the high touch, we're at a saturation point with the low touch stuff, and so the high touch becomes much more I mean, that's where you're seeing like a lot of kind of like so many people now are talking about like authenticity and like actually having relationships and like that's where that stuff doesn't scale. It takes time, and that's why it hasn't gotten worn out.
Yeah.
Like anything that can scale by technology just blows up under its own weight. Like Twitter, right? I mean, like Twitter became useless because just because it was so easy to automate everything that it was just mass noise, and people moved on.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
That's why Instagram doesn't allow you to automate stuff.
Well, to some degree, I mean.
Yeah. Some of it. So Chuck, that interview went well. Sounds like.
Yeah, all of the panelists were like, that was one of our best ones in a long time. So.
What was the interview again? Oh, with Manny.
Manny came on Ruby Rogues.
Oh, cool.
Productivity.
The guy who doesn't know anything about Ruby.
We didn't even talk about Ruby. Mm-hmm. But I think we hit a lot of people where they live. So now I'm just working on getting all the rest of the automation set up so that we can do the email campaign the week it comes out.
I mean, in that conversation were a lot of things that were like ripe for copy, as in the things that people were bringing up. Mm-hmm. Eric and all those guys was exactly what copy would be copy for programmers. Like, these are the challenges for programmers. This is what's happening every day, and this is what you need to, or how you need to address that. So It was good. That's really good.
Yeah, I thought it went really, really well, and everybody was, like I said, just excited about it. So
yeah, this should be fun. I think the promotion should do fine if we use the right copy from those conversations. But Simple Programmer's already done all the copy for us, so we don't really have to do it again.
Well, that copy can be licensed out for use.
That copy can be copyrighted.
Chuck, actually, what I've started doing is, if you may have already thought of this, but just have that podcast transcribed by Rev, and then
there's an idea.
You'll have hooks for all your emails. So we're gonna do the social skills thing with Manny in a couple weeks, and John's gonna interview him for YouTube, and then I'll just have that transcribed, and I'll have half the emails written, or 2/3 of them written already. So the questions that the guys were asking him, like those are your subject lines probably. So
yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. So
did you pitch the course at all on the end of it? Like
we did
in
a little bit, not really heavy pitching,
not hardcore.
Yeah, because it's
a podcast.
It's hard to like make that transition.
Yeah.
But email is where the sales will be made. Podcast is where they will actually be convinced that they need it.
Right. Yep.
Because people are not going to click and take action, unfortunately, on podcasts. But they'll have built trust about this topic.
Yep. So yeah, but it was really, really, it went off really, really well. So
yeah, awesome.
And I'm wondering if that's the kind of joint venture I need to be doing. Is this kind of thing where it's like, hey, come on the show, we'll talk about this thing. Because I mean, it's not direct programming, but I mean, this really hits people where they're at. So if we can do that and make it natural, I think we can really pull some stuff off. And then, I get a chunk of change because I sold a whole bunch of Manny's course. People get what they need because they're getting the guidance they want on how to be more productive. Yeah. And Manny gets a chunk of change because he sold a bunch of product. So
yeah, no, I agree. There is always those angles that in the direct market that we didn't consider that are very powerful.
Yeah. And following it up with email, I also really, really love. So
yeah, email is the only way we'll be able to really sell everything else. If we just put their show notes and put up everything on the you're not going to get many sales.
I was going to say you'll get a couple, but you won't get a ton.
Inertia is too bad, but with email, it's response right then, especially if it's timed, if it's deadline driven. That's where we'll get all the sales.
Yep.
In fact, what could be a good lead up to the email is the podcast episode itself. Just like what Josh and John did right now, right? Kind of build up using the YouTube video as the first way to kind of build trust with them and then sell the product after that. Or you guys didn't even send direct clicks to the landing page for like first 4 emails or so?
Yeah. Yep. So it just went to I'm honestly not sure how effective that was, because I mean, given like if we made 40 sales and I was expecting 20, then I would be like, okay, yep, that definitely really accelerated things. But given that this went about as well as the promotion that we did with Dan Martell a while back, like to me because that was we were just sending people straight to an opt-in from email. So
and I'm not do all the work of doing the videos and all that stuff either.
Yeah. So I'm not convinced. I'd like it wasn't a very good test. Like I'd like to. It would be interesting to test it side by side, but I'm not really convinced that it.
I agree. I mean, there's another angle, because I've been thinking a lot about that as well. Should I send people links to videos, or should I just give them the complete spiel in the email itself? And whenever I do these like in the email, like links to videos, the click-through rate isn't really that much higher, right? So you didn't really get that many people to watch the damn thing that you wanted them to watch. You got 3, 4, 5% of the people. But what I instead started doing now is like I literally compress the whole video into this email, like write the shorter version of that in the email, and then send them to the landing page rather than try to send them to video. and then let the video convert. Because the drop-offs are so ridiculous that by the time you get 1% or 5%, you're left with nothing.
Well, but okay. So this was one of those things. I meant to talk about this from the Sam Ovens video, because I talked about this before. I never heard anyone else talk about this, but Sam had talked about it in that video, which was this idea that he was talking about funnels, and he was talking about how just because more people opt in doesn't mean more people buy.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, and that's the same thing here is, right? Like the only way to know is to actually test it at the very end to see what you're buying, not what the funnel, not what it looks like along how many people drop off, because we want to think of it that way. But in reality, maybe if someone watches the video, they're 5 times more likely to buy. So even though maybe you only get a third of the people that watch the video, like those people are now more likely to buy, and so you actually might make more sales. And
so I've been actually studying Sam Ovens' emails over the last few days, and this is the interesting thing, because what he's doing is something that I've been wrestling my brain around, exactly the topic we're having a conversation about. He has all these videos on his channel about why Michael Jordan became successful, while Carl Icahn is the king of the universe, why Warren Buffett became successful, and all blah, blah, blah. Great angles, right?
Yeah.
And all of these videos ultimately lead people to his webinar. And he also sends emails about the exact same thing. What made Michael Jordan successful, or was, you win the battle before you go in the battle and all that stuff. But the funny thing is, in the email, he writes the whole damn email, but the link is always to the webinar registration page or to the webinar page itself. It's never to the video again.
Right. Yeah. Like, I think that, like, so consumption, you got to get people to consume the message, and like email subscribers read email, and they don't watch video. Video watchers watch video, they don't read email. And that's where, like, so if you've got somebody on a specific channel, it's, best to keep communicating to them in the channel that they originally signed up for.
I agree. So, communication in the medium that they want to be communicated, or communication that respects the medium.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Is the best way to go about it.
I think occasionally
has the highest possibility to convert.
Dropping a video and occasionally is fine, because I think getting some people to watch you is still valuable, but it's not I don't think it's as effective as just putting the whole.
Well, I'd be interested to maybe put a PS and say, if you want to watch the video, here's the video.
Well, what the other thing that does is it drives the people who will cross over to cross over. And then what you're doing is then the people who are email readers and video watchers will then, you have double the exposure essentially.
Right.
But it's not going to be everybody by any means.
Yeah. The key, the uptake is going to be pretty small. It's going to be a small percentage, right? Only any given time, maybe you'll get 1% of your or 2% of your list to actually go and watch the video.
Right.
While YouTube has 180,000 subscribers, the list is 80,000, whatever. You get 1% of the list, maybe 800,000 people to watch the video, which is not bad. But YouTube by itself would have driven around 4,000 or 5,000 views for that video anyways. So but then there's an argument that the most rabid buyers are the ones who will do this, and that's probably, those are the only people we should be marketing to anyways. Everyone else is just noise. So
Manny, what what Sam Ovens funnel that you've seen so far, what is is it just pretty straightforward? Facebook
it's hard
emails to
dude. I signed up for his email list again after a long time. It's relentless on YouTube. On YouTube, it's relentless, right?
Meaning
every video, like every ad is Sam Ovens' ad. And basically the ad leads to the webinar. Every ad has a different angle. Hey, in this, Warren Buffett said that, Bill Gates did this, Elon Musk did that, Jeff Bezos did that, and Michael Jordan did this. And amazing thing is, he's somehow able to put it all together and like direct it to consulting, which is pretty amazing to watch. Like how, like one of the videos is why Michael Jordan became successful, because he loved what he was doing. That was the biggest reason why people become successful in anything, because they love their doing. And that's so true. You can't argue with that shit, right? But then he makes a case for why they should do consulting, because they should stop hating their jobs and do what they love doing, and helping people is one of the best things you can do, blah, blah, blah. Boom. Here's the webinar. So there's 20 front-end, 30 front-end ads that are all feeding into one sales machine.
Yeah.
Right? One webinar that closes the deal.
Is there email before?
Yeah.
Like, is there a delay? Like, so with the webinar, I'm just curious, like, is it a sign up, watch immediately? Is it?
Yeah. So he has pretty interesting offer when you first go there after the webinar. He literally allows you to sign up for a 7-day trial for the product for free, for like basically enter the credit card. And he says,
bold move.
Yeah. No, but 7-day trial, because it's 8-week course, so you'll only get first week of the course in that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so free trials are notorious. So he's basically, I think he's putting his money where his mouth is by doing that, because free trials are really difficult to convert. And it's usually you're better off going, like, if you have a continuity or a membership, usually you're better off not offering the free trial, because you have to just completely blow people's minds in the free trial or they don't convert.
It's a moot point now, because that's not going to happen anymore, because MasterCard just put the nix on that. They just made it so that you cannot auto rebill someone from a free trial.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, they're basically like, you have to text them and confirm, and like there's a whole process now. So like there's no auto free trial there's no automatic free trial to full. Like you have to specifically.
So unless someone is paying something upfront and then getting on a membership, they're not going to allow to zero.
You could do a $1 then, which a lot of people have done.
A $1? Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
$1 trial. No, you could do a $1 trial, right?
No, if you do a $1 trial, then when you try and rebill, it'll be
$1 only.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it'll work.
Oh, so you can't have. Oh, interesting.
You can't do trial to. Although maybe you're right. Maybe it is. Maybe it's only free.
Maybe
I don't know.
It's free. Yeah, like they have to agree to pay something. They can't. You can't tell them it's zero.
Right.
Yeah. It's
boom.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating funnel. He's literally doing what he talks about in his videos, in the sense, just one thing, keep going after it, keep going after it, keep attacking the market with all the different angles, which is pretty awesome to watch. Right? He has one sales system, more or less, like whatever.
What's his price point? Like, is it $3,000 or?
Yeah.
How much? 3?
3.
Okay. And then does he have? Do you know if he has a back end like? Continuity.
So there's a continuity program back end, not on the front end, not on the front.
Right.
The front end offer is as it is, $3,000. That's it. No upsells on it right away. Once you are in the program, and of course for a lot of people, he upsells you to a higher end mastermind, which is $2,000 or $3,000 a month.
Okay.
And then there's another one which is like $30,000 or $50,000 a year or something.
Okay.
Right. But it's a pretty streamlined, like the thing he talks about, which is like machine it so well that it's just like the best damn thing for that one thing that's out there. That's what he's doing, right? He's not trying to. He doesn't have multiple different offers. There's just one offer, and that's it.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense to have multiple angles all pointing to the same offer.
Yes.
One product.
Yes.
Then you can, then you spend a lot of time working on that product and improving that product, and then you're testing a lot of angles, and then you double down on the ones that work.
Yeah.
It also allows you to debug all the commonalities, right? So if you have funnels that share different touch points, then you can figure out which ones are working, but you can also then optimize if it's a shopping cart that they all use, then you can optimize for that too.
It also sets you up for affiliates really well too, because essentially each affiliate is just a different funnel that connects to your main funnel, right?
It's just another traffic source.
Yeah, because if you're sending them to the webinar, and then from there you're dealing with everyone the same, then
okay, I would bet that consulting.com's funnel would convert way better than a lot of the others, especially because of its retargeting. It's just brutal. It's just relentless. It's good. I mean, I respect relentless marketing like that, because then it's like, if you are an affiliate, you get a good chunk of change because of his relentless paid media work.
John, why don't you interview him for your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then talk to him about doing. I mean, like, I think while we're working on whatever our thing's going to be, it would make sense to run. It would be kind of fun to run his funnel with our audience. And I think it would be a better fit than Dan.
I think it would be probably the highest of the fits of all the high ticket offers that you guys have done so far, because it kind of software consulting is a real thing.
Yep.
It's like real well-known commodity. I mean, it ties into how to market yourself and all those things as well.
Do a video on him, John. And then send him the video.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be hard to convince him to do an affiliate deal with us, because like,
I
could just point to the Dan Locke one.
It might be worth buying the course just to see what you think of it, and then taking all these steps, because once you're in there, it might be easier to make all of those moves as well.
Yeah.
And you would be convinced that this is actually good stuff.
I don't know. It might be a distraction though from what we're trying to do. So
that's true.
Well, we know that we need a few months worth of affiliate stuff too. So
yeah.
What's the plan? You guys are getting down with that?
We're discussing.
How's the Facebook ads gone?
I think the funnel is going to be done here. Basically, I think it might be done, and they might be starting ads. So we met this week on Tuesday. We signed. So we are testing it out with ClickFunnels, because you get you get better tracking, and they can build all the pages, and I don't have to mess with any of that stuff. And so they're building like all the fulfillment side of things and the landing pages and everything. And we're gonna turn it on here. I think they're already running a couple of ads, so I should have some more data for you next week. Haven't heard anything yet.
It's for the same product, for job interview success.
Yeah. Yep. So mainly what I'm looking for out of this is like, all right, like, because if we're gonna go this model that we've been talking about with Sam Ovens, then we're definitely going to need a Facebook team.
Yeah.
So this is basically a dry run for me for that, to see if we can get it profitable. We can make some money with it, and just I want to see somebody else execute the process.
Yeah, it's the Roger Bannister effect.
Yeah.
It took me a second. Yeah, it took me a second to catch the reference.
No. Okay, so for anyone who's watching, I want to talk about that just a little bit, or the two people who are watching.
Hello, friends.
The Roger Bannister effect is basically Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile in the 50s, right? That was never done before. And after that, now even high school students can break the 4-minute mile. But before that, for centuries, no man had ever run the 4-minute mile. So what happened right after Roger Bannister ran the 4-minute mile is very interesting. The news about it spread, and other people said, okay, well, I should try to run the 4-minute mile too, but they couldn't do it. But there was this one guy, 45 days after Bannister did it, that was the first guy who did it after Bannister, and his name was John Landy. Now, what was the difference between John Landy and everyone else who broke the 4-minute mile? The difference was that John Landy was actually Roger Bannister's pace setter. He practiced with Bannister all the freaking time. He actually saw Bannister practicing. He saw that Bannister was not superhuman. He was no big deal. He was just another dude just like him in the med school. They were buddies. It was no big deal. Like, if Bannister can do it, I can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest leap of faith that humanity makes when we see someone else do it. As soon as we see someone else do it, the thing that seemed so far out of our reach suddenly becomes real. It's like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it too. And what could have taken us years and years and years, for a lot of people, until they saw someone do it in their own, like in front of their eyes, and they've realized that this guy is no different or no more special, it's like, oh man, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what the fuck. But once you see someone do it, now it's like, all right, I can do it too. So whatever that area of life is we're struggling with, it's like, it's always good to find that Roger Bannister, because if you can see them do it, highly likely you will be able to follow through and get it done too. Because you can read all about it at books, and you can read about it online or watch videos, but none of that is as powerful as watching someone do it in real time.
Yeah, and somebody, like in our case, like somebody who's done it before in other markets, like if they can't make it work in our market, that tells me something, right? And if they can make it work in our market, that tells me something. So that's,
yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Though we'll see about the whole idea of using email marketing to sell, but yeah.
Well, so they're actually using mostly Facebook.
Yeah, I know, but Facebook to email marketing, right?
Mostly Facebook to sales page. The email is like a secondary channel. So it's like most of the follow-up happens on Facebook, potentially.
I see.
And then they only get into email when they're pretty far along the channel or pretty far down the path. So it's not like, it's not so much a direct straight shot to email.
Damn, that sounds a pretty loaded funnel. You guys have recorded a bunch of videos and stuff for that?
They're using a lot of videos that we already had, and they've cut up a lot of the content that John's created and into shorter videos. So they've got a lot of content to use for this.
Interesting.
So yeah, I don't know. I think if we see some sales happening, then I'll be jumping on it, and we'll be doing a bunch of videos. And I want to see the basic model working, even if it's not profitable at first. And then we can add in some, then you can okay, clearly this is working. We can improve this with videos and everything, purpose created videos. But yeah, we're starting to talk about what we can do, what the next step's going to be. And I think we're kind of, both John and I are in agreement that some kind of boot camp type of program is where we need to go. What that's going to look like, I'm not sure yet.
Boot camp. There's a lot of boot camp companies.
Yeah, I mean, not a coding boot camp, but like a career boot camp. So not a technical. Yeah, because there's not a technical. I don't really want to create a Me Too technical JavaScript boot camp. Yeah. No. 2 to 3 years ago, that might have been smart. Too,
to be honest.
Yeah. 2 or 3 years ago, that might have been smart, but it's just going to get more and more crowded. But I mean, one idea that I ran by John this morning was we're kind of on this simplification vein. So we could approach it as this is the simple programmer simplify your career boot camp. So, and you come in, we help you figure out what's the next step for you, and then figure out what the shortest path is, so that you can eliminate a lot of the distractions, a lot of the churn that people go through. Because part of the problem with what we've got where we are is that we don't have we're not like Kazi with Clever Programmer, where everybody's like an aspiring Python developer. We have the multiple avatars with the new developers. We've got intermediate, advanced. and
Yeah, I mean,
they have different needs, right? But I think we could help all of them. Like, go, okay, like if you're a new developer, you need to really get good at one programming language.
mm-hmm.
You need to have a system for finding a job. You need to get really good at interviews. Like that should be your focus for the
Mm-hmm.
next year. If you're an intermediate developer, then adding 6 more programming languages is not going to be that beneficial to you.
What's the most lucrative segment of your audience, or what's the biggest pain point amongst all of this? Because you don't want to address all of them with one product. You'd much rather have initially one product that addresses the first market and then go after the next and the next.
The most lucrative would be the middle slice. Well, the group with the most money would be the middle, like the intermediate people.
But the group with the most money plus the biggest pain is the one you want to.
Yes.
go after.
Yeah, that's the intermediate group.
Which is a little. Well, I don't know. It depends how happy they are where they are. So
the thing that's funny about that market, though, is that everybody goes after the beginners because it's easy. It's easy to put a product out there for the beginners.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If you can nail it for the intermediate market, you know, and I don't feel like anybody really has, you know, you have Pluralsight and things like that offer the courses, but it's, you know, it's okay. Well, what technical skills do you want to use or to learn? And it's not geared necessarily at people at that level. So if you can hit it, I think you can knock it out of the park.
Yeah, but like, I think the pain point we'd be going after with this, if we went with like the simplify your career type of theme, would be the same thing that 10 Steps goes after, which is like, I'm overwhelmed. The last thing I need is another side project and another programming language to learn and another tutorial. Like if we can help people with that problem, I think that could be really effective, because that's everybody's feeling that. And it's kind of fun. Like, it's basically, we're talking about a lot of this stuff in the marketing context, and it's equally true for developers in the career. And they just don't know they don't know what the next highest, they don't know what the next rung on the ladder actually is. And for intermediate people, it's going to be soft skills of some kind.
So it sounds like you guys are like going to be running some surveys to figure out what.
I mean, we already have a ton of survey data.
Okay, yeah.
So I've done a lot of surveys. And the thing I've come out of the surveys with is that, like, the frustrations that I've aired here of like, wow, this is really fragmented. But the big, like, one big theme that I see is like, I don't know what the next step is. And that's where, like, if we could gear this to where, like, we help people, the first step is we help people figure out what the next step is. And then we have a few different channels a few different paths they can run down to eliminate most of what they're doing and just actually make some real progress. Like, I think that could be really compelling.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, you need to be able to show results, but yes.
Agreed. That's
I'm just saying, if you can show results, then people will buy it.
Yep. Which is the advantage of this iterative, like, if we're just going to focus on this thing for the next 3 years and make it really good, then you have that, because you can, the first time you run it, you have nothing, right? And then you get some hyper responsives who are like, okay, I'll take a risk on John because I like him. And the next time, you know, you've got more, you can kind of feed it back into the whole thing and make it more effective over time.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, what date do you want to do this?
Right
the day before Valentine's. That would be really. That's when you can really get them. The day before Valentine's.
You're gonna have to deliver some fast results there, Manny.
No. Just when they're lonely. Just when they're lonely. They're like down.
I mean, we could do it the 11th through the 13th. That would be.
Yeah, let's do it.
Basically, yeah. All right. Twisting the knife.
Like really getting to their pain. Remember, it's not about the copy though. It's about the reality of Valentine's Day.
True.
Yeah. All right. 11th, 13th. Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to get that clarification, and now we can switch the channel back to this conversation. It's so it's basically software developer's career guide.
Yeah, I mean that would be the content, right? Yeah. But it's just how we package it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's probably some angle there where it's ongoing community or some like the angle for the high ticket is what you need to figure out, right?
Yes, and
not
then, I think
another $100-$200 course, but more like $2,000 or like $200 a month or something like that. Probably $2,000 is better because even $200 a month, you're looking at lifetime of $1,200 or something maybe.
No, I would say, I'd be shooting for a $2,000-$3,000 price tag on this with a continuity on the back end.
Yeah, because if I'm an engineer at Qualcomm, and everyone at Qualcomm is making six figures easy and more, right? Those were back in the days. Spending $2,000 on growing your career is like you don't even think about it, because your next bonus check is going to be like 10, 20K. Or if you can sell me on the idea that, it's a $2,000 investment on what could be a jump in your career, which will over time be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a pretty straightforward leap of faith there for me. Like, okay, I can safely invest $2,000, learn about how to deal with bosses and office politics and marketing myself and dealing with development issues and dealing with stupid testing guys who don't want to do what I want them to do and all that stuff, right? But I mean, if the problem with developers is that there's nobody to, like, the only person that is quote unquote their career guide is their HR manager. You almost can pit the HR manager as the evil guy, because they don't really want to raise your salary. They don't want you to be the person who's like creating challenging situations in the office. But your path to growth is going to be when you don't listen to the HR directly, but you do what they're telling you to do, right?
Sounds like you're encouraging toxic masculinity.
No, but HR is like one of those evil things. They sell you all this dream of like how they're taking care of you and blah, blah, blah. But the truth is they don't really care. They're just answering to the man above, not the guys below.
Right.
So you're
and
saying
their incentive is to keep your salary as low as possible.
Their incentive is to keep your salary as low as possible, but here we're going to teach you how to fucking boost your salary.
Yeah, so you need to hire somebody to draw Hubert the HR villain.
I'm seeing a meme from the Gillette commercial now. Now I'm seeing that one scene and the guy, and then you've got the girl, and the girl, we're going to put Lave on there. We're going to say like higher salary, and the guy is going to be going after it. And then the black dude that says, that's not cool, bro. He's going to be HR. So HR is telling you that's not cool, bro.
Exactly. HR is constantly telling you. HR is the enemy in this marketing campaign.
I like it.
Oh man.
So, just like I mean, that's definitely true though. Like, we don't realize how subtle it is, how subtle their communication towards us is when you're in a corporate career. They're like, oh yeah, we'll take care of it. We'll make sure you're taken care of, blah, blah. But they are making sure that you get the least amount of money you possibly could ever get.
Yeah, they're there taking care of the company, not you.
Exactly. And that's the angle, right?
Yeah.
Almost everyone there is taking care of the company, not you. So who's watching out for you? Not even your boss. Even your boss is just answering to the guy above. So how are you going to make sure that you make the most money, and how do you take care of yourself is the question that we're going to help you answer.
Yeah, I've had one or two bosses where that wasn't the case, but yes, most of the time that is true.
Most
they're
of the time,
trying to cover their own rear end.
Yeah, I mean, even if
their boss, not you.
Even if they're trying to help you, it's in the premise of them looking good in front of their bosses as well.
Fair enough.
Right.
There's some of that, no matter who it is.
No matter who it is.
Yeah.
Ultimately, everyone's selfish, so we're gonna help you identify how to get ahead using the 48 laws of power. Oh, actually, yeah. John asked me to write an article on Simple Programmer on how 48 Laws of Power, because I told him like 48 Laws of Power literally changed my career in engineering. The first law changed my career. So I'm gonna send an article to you, or I don't know where to submit it, but I'll send it to you guys, and you can let me know if that's something that would be useful.
We'll turn you over to the savage dogs on our editorial team.
That's right. But that's a good, that's again, I think it's persuasion, right? We're getting into the video, or the blog post will help us get people warm to me and to the ideas that are coming.
Yeah.
And hopefully also in the longer term of the career guide of what we're going to do. But that simple, man, that one idea, if people just understood that, it can change so many people's careers and literally put them on the trajectory to earn like at least $10,000 a year more for the rest of their career.
What's the first law? I haven't read it.
I can't tell you that, man.
Oh man, open loop.
Buy the book summary.
Screw you and your open loops. I'm gonna Google it.
Oh, stop. Remember, we're using the Sam Owens Consulting webinar funnel here. We're like getting people to realize the power of that.
Here we go. 48 Laws of Power summary and notes. Boom. Oh yeah, that is good. I'm not going to say what it is, but that is good.
Oh my god,
Josh,
now everyone can be Googling this shit. Everyone watch
Google. You go to Google Trends and it's like 48 Laws of Power. It's like
it's on my YouTube channel. I recently did a summary of 48 Laws of Power, and I talked about that law because it revolutionized my career. That itself, if someone could package that up for the software community, would be worth so much, because all of us in software community are such nerds, in engineering in general, not just software, right? Mm-hmm. In engineering, we're such nerds that we think the path is exactly the opposite of what he says there it is, right?
Yeah.
We are so...
John actually talks about this obliquely in the career guide.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Yep. This is like, there's a reason why he made it number one. Like there's a reason why that is the first law of power.
Yeah.
And you disobey it at your own, like at your own cost, literally. Yeah. There's no, like, something I never learned, man. Nobody taught me that shit. HR will never tell you that shit, right? HR will not say that out loud, even if they hope that you learn that somehow. Your boss is never going to tell you.
We should make all of our thoughts for the week one of the laws of power that we don't actually reveal what it is.
Law number 1 or law number 3.
I like it. Let's do it.
All teasers.
Let's look up summary.
Oh my god!
I know, now I have to Google it too, right?
Right.
What do you mean? I thought you were watching my video while we were talking about it. It's on 2000 Books YouTube channel, guys. Just go watch it. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. Like, it's because if that one thing can change people's lives, imagine how many different nuggets there are that people aren't talking about that can help different people in different respects. Like the other thing, I was on my meditation group coaching call, and one of the guys, he has massive anxiety around interviews.
Wow.
And that's pretty natural, right? Anxiety around interviews is a very natural process, but there are processes, there are tools to manage it. There are tools that can help you get really good at it. And meditation is one of them. And there's a ton of other tools to help you, like especially body language tools, like what Amy Cuddy talked about in Presence and all those things, right? So stuff like that would be so useful for the outsiders or for people like what the people you're addressing. That $2,000-$3,000 is not a big deal as long as you can keep on explaining the benefits and the pain points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a good market of high price points customers.
Well, I'll be interested to see where you end up with this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You could basically make the corporate the evil enemy and just go after it.
I'm serious. You should make like a comic book villain and a comic book hero.
Yeah, Dilbert and what's his name?
And your hero can be the ultimate software
developer.
Ultimate software developer's career guy.
No, the hero is the ultimate software developer. That is him. That is the person who's watching.
Yes, you become the ultimate software developer.
And then
through a super serum that we've developed.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think it would be interesting if you could interview maybe 20 or 30 people, like on phone or on video or something like that, and get to learn all their pains like that rather than just survey.
Well, we should interview HR people. And be like, and I'll interview them. I'll be like, so tell me, so you work in HR for a software development company? Yeah. So you want to see software developers like climb up the ladder? I mean, like, yeah, of course. Wouldn't that be more work for you if you had to like process their salaries and
and wouldn't your boss be mad if you couldn't control the salary of the unit?
Did they teach you to lie about that, or does it just come naturally?
Exactly. Just like question them like they're on a fucking witness stand.
Oh man. Yeah, I've looked at making some products that are related to some of these topics. I don't know if I don't know if I would want to do a comprehensive one though.
No,
but at the same time, I mean, that's in a lot of cases, that's what people are looking for, right? They want the full-on solution to their problem. They don't want to have to go piecemeal it together with, here's how I level up, and here's how I build soft skills, and here's how I deal with my boss, and here's how,
Yeah, here's how I build confidence, here's how I do interviews, here I deal with boss and all. Like the other side of development that nobody's talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there are other people talking about it, but it seems like you guys own that niche anyways. So who cares if there are other people talking about it? Skillsoft talks a little bit about these things, right?
I don't know.
Skillsoft is all about soft skills, right?
I don't think they are at all, actually. Back me up here, John. Am I right about this?
I think they're mostly training. Like,
yeah, that was extremely ironic. So I actually kept mistyping their name because we have a deal with them for the career guide.
Yeah.
And they distribute it. And I kept mistyping their name as Soft Skill instead of Skillsoft. And I think it's like just skill and then soft as in software. Like we provide like more like.
So it's like Pluralsight.
Like what? It's more like Pluralsight than it's more like Pluralsight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Pluralsight, but their main target audience is big, huge. Like I think they have the Pentagon.
Yeah.
So like they've got big corporate clients. They don't go after the individual developers or small teams. It's like big corporate clients that buy access to the whole library.
Yeah, they have everything. They have a lot of corporate. This is almost like you want to go against Skillsoft. Like you don't want them to. Like the corporate stuff is the corporate speak, but right. Corporate wants you to watch specific kinds of videos. They don't want you to watch on how to negotiate your salary.
Exactly.
Or how to deal with.
We've been kind of holding our breath ever since they signed a deal with us to distribute the career guide. We're like, did anyone read that book?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Go against the company, and I think it'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Was I on last week? I don't remember.
I don't think so. What have you been up to, Chad?
It was just me and Josh, more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, last week
filled the whole hour too.
Yeah.
Ugly. So,
I popped on before my races.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just fill everybody in, I guess, for what's gone on over the last week. So, so last a week, I guess it was almost 2 weeks ago on Sunday, I drove down to Las Vegas for CES. And I think we discussed the Friday before that I had been having some health issues. And surprise, surprise, I got down to Las Vegas and they flared up.
Oh, no.
So Monday, I went to one press event and I didn't stay very long because I was really in pain. Tuesday, I wound up, the only place that my insurance said they'd cover was the emergency room. So I went to the emergency room for my pain. And they pretty much figured out what was going on. So without going into too many details, I had an infection in my prostate, and
that's kind of a lot of details.
I'm not sure how many more details you can go from there.
Well, I'll spare you the symptoms. How's that?
Okay,
yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Anyway, so yeah, but it was causing me a ton of pain. So they gave me some pain meds and put me on another antibiotic to take care of that, and that cleared. Things are clearing up now. But anyway, so by the time Thursday rolled around, I was going to stay till Saturday and go to CES, and I didn't. So on Thursday I drove home, and Friday I pretty much just slept all day. And then this week I've still been recovering from a bunch of stuff related to that. So what's interesting is that I've made a bunch of headway on things like the master process for the podcast and things like that. But yeah, so if people are wondering, yeah, he's been kind of quiet, not talked about a lot about what he's been doing. Most of what I've been doing has actually been involved in just, getting back to the point where I can work for more than, a half hour at a time without pain. So.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm pretty much 100% at this point. The antibiotic I'm on, the doctor said I can't really push it running. So my running coach and I are working out a plan for walking, lots of walking. But yeah, anyway, so I just thought I'd throw that out there and not take up too much time, but it's been not a lot of fun. So take care of your health.
Yep. In India, we have this saying, or in Hindi, it's a very old saying, which translates to the first wealth is health, the second wealth is wealth, money, and the third is a relationship, a good relationship. Health and money come before that, because without health, everything else is useless. Without money as well, everything else can be pretty painful. So health is number one. Health is first wealth. I guess that's also the saying in American, but it is indeed very true.
Yep.
I mean, I often think about this. Would I exchange my life with Warren Buffett right now? And even with all the struggles of the business and everything else, and he's got these billions of dollars, would I do that? Hell fucking no. Shit. I am poor. Like I'm freaking, I'm half, maybe even less than half his age. Why would I give up all these years of life just to have all that money? No. So health is way, way, way above money can ever be. Well, no amount of millions or billions of dollars will get you any kind of youth or health back. So,
well, the other thing is that there's no knowing what's coming, and your opportunities may outweigh his at this point, even though he has all of those resources that he can invest for things. So
yeah, health is like, health and youth and time are like way more precious than we give them value for. If you start doing this math, pretty soon you'll realize you really don't want, like, all the people you think they're awesome. I don't know if I want to exchange life with those people. That's cool that they're awesome, but like, I'm much better off here sitting around in my San Diego office and trying to figure out this fucking business rather than being Carl Icahn or Warren Buffett or even Bill Gates for that matter. They're old. I don't want to be them.
Yep. So one other thing I think I'm going to throw out here real quick, related more toward what we usually talk about on the show, is that I started emailing my list more about a month ago. and my list is growing, not shrinking. So it's funny how many people are like, they're like, if you keep emailing people like this, they're going to unsubscribe. I had people in my Discord channel that listen to the show, and they're like, you're sure emailing a lot. And I've thought about unsubscribing. And I just basically said,
you should.
If it's too much, go ahead.
Yeah.
And it's really funny to me because, yeah, I started emailing and I'm getting more people on the list, not less. So,
yeah.
How often does Sam Ovens email, Manny?
Right now, I'm getting an email every day, but I think that tapers off as time goes on. I have his emails from the last time I was on his list. And those were the ones I was studying. The recent one, actually, there was a really interesting email. The last email that I opened, basically there was a 7-day trial that I did not take, right? So now the email said, canceling your account. That's the subject line. Damn, man. Much as I registered opening that, I had to open that one.
Yeah.
I had to open that one.
There was a similar one in Dan Locke's thing that I signed up for. It was like, I forget what it was, John. It was like it might have been it might have been canceling your account, or you're being removed or something like that. Like
you're being disciplined.
It was the one to get you to add him to the address book, I think, right?
No, I think it was the last ditch to watch the funnel. Or last ditch to watch the webinar.
Yeah. You're being toxic. That's what it said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a question, though. Copywriting is kind of the next foray that I need to hit. Is there a course or a system or something that you all recommend?
Shit, man. Books are pretty good on that topic. Depends on what kind of copywriting. Are you trying to write sales pages? Do you want to do email marketing? What are you trying to do?
Mostly email is what I'm looking at right now.
I would also read Invisible Selling Machine by Ryan Deiss. That's just a good indoctrination.
I've read that one twice.
Okay.
I know
Ryan is one of those people that Sam Ovens is selling against, for sure. For sure.
What about you, Josh? I know you've been through a bunch of those courses and stuff. Do you have one you like?
So,
what is this, Office Space?
What's that? Well, okay. So there's not one not an email course that I can completely recommend without like any reservations or qualifications. One of the most popular guys is Ben Settle. He has a very abrasive, rough style. You can still learn an awful lot from him just by kind of watching him. And then like he only sells an email newsletter that's like $99 a month. Or sorry, he sells a print newsletter about email marketing for $99 a month. And you used to get a pretty good book that came with that, where he goes through a lot of the ideas. Like you don't need to be you don't really need to delve too deep into copywriting to do well with email.
Yep.
Okay.
And honestly, this is part of the reason why I don't do more client work is because if you're communicating regularly and you're just kind of a good human being and honest with people, and that's like 80% of the so for me to come in and really create a huge amount of value for a client, they almost have to be doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're doing something and you're following up, like with what you're doing, you're probably 50% or 70% of the way to capturing the value. Like there's definitely some things you can learn and that work, but it's not like the relationship is the biggest, is far and away the biggest thing. And there's not like, it's not with a sales letter, especially if it's cold traffic, you're basically trying to do relationship building on fast forward. So there is a lot more potentially that you can do within that format, because you've got 20 minutes with somebody to go from zero to sale. And so like you're not spending 2 years with somebody.
Josh is the master copywriter here, so we all agree with what he's saying. And I would still read some of the books on copywriting because there's so much. so much
Well,
perspective you get on like how to influence, how to be able to
Yeah.
get the point across, that it's very hard to do if you don't really understand marketing, copywriting in general.
Right.
So here, just for Chuck, here are the books. Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz, one of the greatest copywriting books ever. Copywriter's Handbook by Robert Bly.
Yeah, I have that on my shelf back there.
The Adweek Copywriting Handbook
excellent.
by Chris Sugarman.
Yep. That's actually a good one to start with.
How to Write a Good Advertisement by Victor Schwab.
Yes.
So these are four amazing copywriting books. You cannot go wrong with any of these. And it's like almost a study of a lifetime because shit, man, this stuff is like, you go back, you read, and then you forget it. You go back and you apply, and then you're like, oh yeah, and then you go back again. You keep going back to it.
Right. The value in those books is actually more in terms of, and even the value in studying copywriting is mostly because it trains you to think about business in a way that's very useful.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that I found with a lot of these things is that as I internalize the principles behind this stuff, that's when things really start to click into place. Like I'll do the right things as I learn them, but then it starts to become more natural to me, and that's where it really shines. And so I don't think there's like a silver bullet where it's like, oh, this is how you do it, boom, you're done. And so I agree, you need to be reading and studying and learning this stuff.
Right.
But I'd like to be able to just kind of have it hit my brain a bunch of times and then work through some of it and then realize, oh, okay, this works and this doesn't. If
you Google like the 10 greatest copywriting books, there's a list that includes all the ones. There's several lists, but they all include the ones that Manny just held up, and there's a couple more also. And like if you read those, like read them multiple times. Scientific Advertising is another one.
Scientific Advertising. What's
the Robert Collier Letter Book, which is
that one's
actually hard to get your hands on sometimes, but there's like about 10 books. If you read those, you're pretty much set. And they were all written like 75 years ago.
None of these books are like new age copyright.
No, I think the newest one is the Sugarman book, which was written in the 80s.
Nobody's writing about copywriting anymore because it's an art that's already been dealt with. There's no new discoveries that people are making.
It's human influence. It's not. I mean, the tools may change, right? So you may wind up with a better version of Drip or whatever, but
now people are writing about the tools like the expert secrets and .com secrets and all those stuff. Those are basically using the tools in these books to make this shit happen. I haven't seen a copywriting book come in a long time, or maybe I haven't been. John Carlton has a good one too.
Yeah, John, I've got that.
Yeah.
Kick-ass copywriting secrets of a marketing rebel.
It's a little too much to read.
It's kind of a mouthful.
Rambling, sometimes, but it's a good book. It talks about a lot of other things other than just copy.
All right, cool. Well, I'll probably pick up some of those and just run with them.
Yeah. I think most books I usually just want to read on paperback. Copywriting is one of those things I wouldn't mind just listening again and again, just because there's so much value in that shit that it's almost hard for me to just once I read it and I'm done. It doesn't happen with copywriting.
Yeah, I've been on. So I know the guy that owns, not real well, but Brian Kurtz is a really old school direct marketing guy. Used to run Boardroom Reports. Huge direct response company, and he owns the rights to Breakthrough Advertising. And I know him a little bit, and I've been on him for several years to try to get him to do an audio version of it. And he wants to do it, but he's like, he feels like he needs to be the one to record the audio because he wants to do, I think he wants to do John Sonmez style because he knew Gene Schwartz personally. So I think he wants to do like a bunch of additional content for it. But
I wonder if
I would love to have that
as much anymore on Amazon because
he doesn't have it listed on Amazon, I don't think at the moment.
I had to buy this for like $50 or something because there's
he sells it through a website, and I think all the money goes to the family, to Gene Schwartz's family, or some kind of charity or something. So it's like he charges like $110 for the book, but it's well worth it for the hardcover.
Damn.
Cool.
Real copywriter.
Yep. So, shall we do thoughts?
Probably.
All right.
So my thoughts, I'll go first because the other thing I guess that I didn't bring up was that with the whole transition thing, show notes writers never quite got lined up, and then I was so sick that I couldn't, I didn't get to onboarding people. So, but the rest of the system worked, right? It clicked along fine. And so, you know, when I spoke last about, things with Eric, yeah, the rest of the system worked. I did get those editors onboarded, so that all went fine. And so I guess my thought this time around is mostly just around that, just having those systems in place, making sure everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing, how they're supposed to be doing it, when they're supposed to be doing it. And then, then the system can run. And then if you have to take a week or longer to recover from some nasty stuff, then you can. And yeah, it's just critical to be able to kind of lean on people and have things just go the way that they need to go.
Awesome. So you only missed a week and you're back up and running, even with the way that whole thing went down?
Yeah, so we didn't release the 1 week, and then the next week, the editors had things edited 2 weeks ahead. They were already ahead, right? And so I just released them. I put I didn't write any show notes for those. I just put the links to the sponsors so that the sponsors were taken care of. Everything was squared away. Hey, look, I held up my end of the deal with them. Make sure that they're getting the ROI that they want. But yeah, so I had to go in and do the publishing because my show notes writers all worked for Eric. And, so that all that editing and publishing was all done by them. So I had to do that. I had to spend a couple hours. But yeah, the rest of the system worked fine. And we're constantly refining that and making it better. But yeah, just having the system in place. I mean, I was talking to Michelle the other day, and she just went in and lined up like 13 React Roundup guests, right? And now she's going and doing the same thing for Ruby Rogues and Views on Vue because we have some openings there. Also, interestingly enough, 6 of our shows are having milestone episodes within the next few weeks, either episode 50, 350, or 400, depending on the show.
Nice. That's quite a lot.
Some longevity there.
Yeah. Yeah, Ruby Rogues is going to have episode 400.
When is our episode going live? Or what's the timeline for it?
This? Oh, no. Never mind.
Oh, that one. The one that Chuck and I recorded.
Oh, that one? I'll have to double check because
That's a good sign. Chuck has no idea. It's just working
our publishing schedule got pushed. I think it's in 3 weeks.
Okay. So I should have all the links and discount codes and all those things available for that.
Yeah, I'll figure it out and I'll let you know after this call.
Okay. What?
Let's see. Okay, I'll do my thought. I think mine will be recognize how impactful one event can be in your life, right? So my ribs are still messed up after this time. So
they're broken. You can stop calling it messed up. They're broken.
Fine, they're broken. Whatever. If I look at the downstream effects of that one incident is I'm still not sleeping. So I'm drained on sleep. So it's been difficult to performance and productivity has dropped. I had to run the ridiculous dopey challenge with broken ribs, which messed up the whole performance in that running and the training. And I can't lift weights really. I can, it's hard to lift heavy. And so it's a whole downward spiral of effects just from one small thing. So, I just kind of thought about just the idea that one small thing can make a huge difference, and so be careful what you do Otherwise, the consequences could be pretty great. So just small choices.
John, I'm sorry you're having trouble performing.
That's it. I'm not going to make a prostate joke.
I know that would be toxically masculine.
That would be a low blow.
All right. My thoughts is something that I've been thinking a lot about maybe ever since I started reading this book again, Eugene Schwartz's book, that copy cannot create desire. It's like the most, like in the marketing world, there's this whole notion that somehow we can create desire for a product that doesn't exist. The truth is we can only tap into that desire. Copy can only tap into a desire that already existed. Copy will never create new desire that the person didn't have before. So a lot of the marketing effort sometimes is wasted trying to create desire instead of just tapping into desire. And I've been guilty of that. I'm thinking about all the stupid things I've done in the past, trying to figure out to sell the product instead of thinking more along the perspective of, okay, tapping into the desire rather than trying to create desire.
Right. Yep. Yeah. He talks in the book about how like so trying to create desire is basically mass education. And it's possible to do, but it takes like an entire industry 30 years to, I think he talks in there about toothpaste and what an uphill slog it was to get people to use toothpaste. It was like a 30 or a 50 year effort.
Basically, one advertiser cannot do massive.
Yep.
That's almost impossible to do. So you need a whole industry to change it. But if you are one of the advertisers in the industry, you might as well just ride on the existing desires.
It's so funny because people are so paranoid about advertising and like manipulating them. And like, there's some things you can do within that, within the framework to influence people. But a lot of it is like, you're just sort of riding along on this big wave. So, my thought will be, there's a saying in the fitness industry, which is complicate to profit, simplify to succeed. And this is really like, I think the Sam Ovens video got me thinking about this because I think that like, honestly, I think a big part of what's happened in the online business world is that people want to sell how to make money products. And for people to buy that, they have to believe that anyone can do this, right? And so the way that they make that believable is by giving you this huge complicated process. And if you just do all the little things right and build this huge machine, it's going to magically work. And it doesn't work. And like basically the only way to the complexity can be useful, but it's only when you already have something that works in its smallest form. And like just building this big it's like copying and pasting a bunch of random code from the internet, isn't going to make a program. Like the program has to work in its simplest form, and then you can build complexity and make it more useful. But the core of it has to be solid first. And the reality is that something simple like that is not something that most people are going to be able to do. So you can sell the machinery more easily, because like out of 100 people who try to start a business, 95% of them are going to fail because their idea is just not good enough. And that's just the reality of it. And you have to get up and try again. So I think a lot of this backlash is being generated by people building all this complexity and generating all this noise when the fundamental, there's no there.
Okay, so here's, I want to just explore that a little bit. I think anyone who's selling products in the space of like helping people succeed / make money and all those things, most of those products will actually work if you do the work. So I just recently did a video on fake persistence versus real persistence. The idea of the difference between the fact that we can go wide and try all these things and make it really complicated and like think that we're actually making shit happen. But the truth is, only when we go deep on that one idea, one topic, and we just say, fuck it, I will just make it work, whatever has been given, that's when you trust yourself. The problem with like complexity in many ways, like being sold to with all these ideas, is we don't trust ourselves. So we think that something outside can help us.
Mm-hmm.
But once we trust ourselves, then we are really persistent. Then we say, I will fucking make it work. And then we can go really deep. When don't trust ourselves, we go wide. We are all over the place. We're trying all these different things, hoping that something will stick.
Yeah, I agree. I disagree that I think that most of what's taught in marketing does not work if you work it, or of the majority of it. Like, okay, so The Machine is a good example, right? Ryan Deiss's, like that. Just if you can't sell a $29 ebook, building a gigantic Infusionsoft machine to try to sell a $7 thing, just putting the machinery in place doesn't get you anything other than wasting a year of your life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
Like if you can't sell, so that's my point. It's like if the 29, like if the autoresponder to landing page thing isn't working for you, then building some big Goliath thing isn't going to change that.
So
yeah, but to Manny's point, one thing that I just want to add on to that is that for 99% of people out there, the problem isn't that they're trying to do something that's too complicated. They just don't do the work, right? It's an implementation problem, not a design problem. And so, you know, down to that much, if they get in and do the work and they can learn something from it and then tweak the process towards success, the fact that they're implementing them makes it a whole lot more likely that they're going to succeed.
The problem with the Ryan Deiss thing is that it holds itself up as the thing that eliminates the actual work that you need to do. So in fitness, like, okay, so in fitness, it's like, if you don't have your diet and your training dialed in, literally nothing else that you're going to do is going to really make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But the supplement industry, everybody wants a magic pill. So the supplement industry makes a killing because people don't want to actually do the hard work. And most of what gets sold in marketing is creatine powders and, you know, protein powders and stuff that makes it's the 3% that the top 1% of people need.
Right.
But it gets sold to the masses.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to the fact that Invisible Selling Machine, the Ryan Deiss machine, and also let's take another thing, consulting.com or high ticket closing, like all of those things. They all possibly work in their domain. The challenge for a lot of entrepreneurial people initially is they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very easy to actually do the wrong thing at the wrong time. Do the right thing at the wrong time. So implementing the machine is actually a good idea, but at the wrong time, it's a recipe for failure. It's a recipe for disaster. Right. Someone who's selling a $10 ebook and hoping to make a killing, and then they're going and improving their sales page and all those things while they have an email list of 5,000, no matter of tweaking that shit is going to work. You're doing the right thing at the wrong time.
Right.
When you have a lot more traffic coming in, and when you have a decent price product, that would actually make sense. At this price point, it doesn't actually make any sense to do these things. So the challenge for a lot of people is they don't really know what to do right now, and they just end up doing something or the other and hope that that will take the business to the next level.
Right.
And that's true for all of us, in the sense where we are in our business, we're struggling to get to the next level because we don't know precisely the next move that would be the highest leverage, that would be the most strategic move.
In online business, in online like marketing space, most of the people are trying to add to that confusion and not clarify it.
Well, the only way you get clarity is if you have a mentor, if you have a coach or a guide.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get clarity through a course or a book because you don't have a two-way street. I don't think you get clarity just by reading a book and like by thinking through that problem, because ultimately you're stuck within your own confines of thinking.
Right.
Having a mentor the path.
Yeah, but what people that are in leadership positions need to be doing is like pointing people like, here's the base level, here's ground zero of where you need to start with this stuff, and not like just constantly like beating the drum of like, you know, your house is going to burn down if you're not on Pinterest.
Dude, I mean, seriously, like okay, so there's this guy who's trying to build a ClickFunnels funnel of the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you don't have any traffic. You don't know how to get traffic, and you're trying to build a funnel for your online course, etc. Why are you doing that? He's like, oh, I read it in .com secrets. I'm like,
well, that is exactly what he says in .com secrets. He says, don't worry about traffic. He says,
which is a very dangerous way to look at things, because it is true. Don't worry about traffic if you're selling e-commerce stuff, because you're not going to sell e-commerce by doing content marketing all the way. You're probably going to buy traffic and look at other people's traffic. But if you're a freaking coach, you're taking the right advice in the wrong perspective, because the ClickFunnels stuff works when you have shit ton of traffic coming in, and now you can optimize, you can improve it. But trying to do that shit when you're just starting to build a business, bad idea.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of these books have good advice, but people don't know when to put that specific advice into play. And no matter where you are in your business, there's the next level where you're stuck thinking, okay, should I do that right now? Or what would be the best possible move? Is the highest answer you can get. Is the best answer you can get. And that's the most difficult answer to get.
Yep. That was a long thought.
Yeah. Because in the book Strategy, I mean, there's a really good book on this topic called Good Strategy, Bad Strategy by this professor of, I think, MIT, Sloan Business School of Management. Yeah.
Professor of
Strategy. He ultimately, he talks about like how strategy works and all those things. But ultimately, he boils this down to one thing. If you don't know what the diagnosis is, if you don't know what the real problem is that's going to take you to the next level, you're not going to be able to figure it out by yourself. You need someone who has walked the path. That is the fastest way to figure this shit out. Everything else is just going to add to the noise and confusion, and you're still going to be struggling.
Yeah.
Finding people who have walked that before you is the fastest way to progress in every endeavor.
Go to 2000books.com coaching.
/ coaching. No, it's not /coaching, it's /apply. But no, I'm serious. Like, Tony Robbins as well. Like Tony was talking about this back in 2009 when I went to Unleash Your Power. Then he's like, all of these strategies are very useful, but unless, like, the only way you'll accelerate your success in any given endeavor is if you find some Roger Bannister, or if you find someone who's doing it at a higher level. And that's why I'm always looking for coaches. Everyone's like, we're all like, John said, a few months ago, he was like, I have the identity of a guy who gets coaching for whatever I need help with. There's nothing wrong with it, right? So, yeah.
All right.
That was a long thought.
Play the outro.
All right, that it?
I think so.
Yeah. All right, guys.
We'll all right, get some sleep, John.
I'll try.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.